This table saw is a sad state of affairs. I know it's technically got the word table in it, but it's not really meant to store things. So it's time to build a workbench. In the future, I'll build a proper heavy hand tool bench, but for now I just need something portable so I'm not bending over all the time and putting my tools in places they shouldn't be. What I'm going to build here is called the Paulk Smart bench. This is a super well covered build all over YouTube, and I'll link Ron's video in the description, so this is not going to be an instructional video. The first step in this process is to plan it out in Sketchup. I need to know the thickness of the plywood I'd be working with. I'm using Premcore plywood, just like Ron himself suggests here. This stuff is super awesome. It's about half the weight of a Baltic birch sheet, which is pretty incredible. Other than being light, I want this workbench to serve as an outfeed table for my table saw, so into SketchUp we go. The first thing I did was set the finished height, then work down from there. I won't go into detail here, but SketchUp is a pretty invaluable tool for me in these kinds of projects. It allows me to make mistakes while I'm modeling before I actually make any cuts. It also lets you plan out material usage, and it turns out I bought one too many sheets, but that's okay, I have plans for the extra sheet. Okay, on to actually making the thing. The first step is to break down the full sheet. I find this rigid foam insulation super useful for this. This is the first time I've used pocket holes on a project, and they came in really handy. Next was marking and cutting the cutouts on the sides of the bench. This not only removes material, making it even lighter, but it provides access to the inside once everything is assembled, which is one of the key features of this bench. I finished off the cuts with a small roundover, just to keep things nice and smooth. Those side cutouts are already coming in handy here, making it super easy to clamp the sides down to the bottom while I attach the pocket screws. After the sides were attached, I could mark and cut some pieces for the end caps and center ribbing. Then it was back to marking, drilling, cutting, and routing all the cutouts for those pieces. Then I could start final assembly for the top. Something wasn't perfect here, and I had to plane down one edge to get a perfect fit for the top. And the top is almost done, just one final routing and sanding pass to get everything nice and smooth. Time to move on to the legs. I'm using a super simple I-beam style sawhorse construction for these. Again, something that's really well covered on YouTube, so I won't go into much detail here. The very last thing to do was to attach some simple cleats to the bottom of the table here, just to give the sawhorses a place to register when everything was set up. I used CA glue to temporarily attach them and screws to finish everything off. And with that, the bench was done.